working for the season. No more cherry harvest.
Pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Hello.
Sorry, I was talking to an insurance.
That's all right. I put your packet over there at your chair,
Oh, thank you.
if you want it.
I'll sit over here, please.
Roll call, please.
Drain Commissioner Christensen,
Present.
Road Commissioner Greenan,
Here.
Commissioner Ross. Here. Member Thompson,
Present.
Member Warner,
Here.
all present.
Thank you. Any additions or deletions to the agenda?
Can I just ask, since a representative from the Lake Leland Lake Association is here, is there a chance that we could just review, or acknowledge the acceptance of his edits to the manual, or?
There's a public comment spot. and I was,
Or we could do that under commissioner comments.
Okay.
yeah, and I mentioned that that would be the case if there's only one thing
Okay.
on, but
Okay.
I think that will cover it.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, okay, good.
I'll move to approve the agenda as presented.
A second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We have an agenda. Approval of minutes. I have nothing to add on the land deal. I wasn't present, but the situation is the same. I entertain a motion.
I move we accept the minutes for the Wednesday, July 17th minute as presented.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Minutes are approved. Now we have public comment.
So there are two public comment periods. I'm not sure which one is appropriately to address the state level control procedure. I've distributed. Well, I should identify myself.
That would be helpful,
We could do this, let's do this at the second one, sir.
because it's not on the agenda technically, so.
Okay,
Hopefully what we're going through here won't take very long.
okay, action items. Review and or possible recommendation, design options and estimated cost of Leland Dam pedestrian bridge.
Okay. As you all are aware, we have contracted with Leland Engineering to prepare the request for proposals as it relates to the repairing of the Leland Dam Bridge. He's given us three different designs to look at and estimated cost. This will be on the Board of Commissioners agenda tonight for their business consideration. And originally, I had thought about the meeting was originally going to be for tomorrow, if you wanted to move forward with that. But because it's on tonight, we would like to get this project hopefully done by the end of November. We wanted to get your input so that I can supply that in to the Board of Commissioners tonight. So thank you for, first of all, thank you for the willingness to do it. one of the things is you had three different designs. One, the first design is what he would call a decorative concept that he looked at. And I'm just going on one of the pages here. Then he has the concept of I think he called it plastic concept, where you have the railings in through there. The first one has more of a screens on there. And then, of course, you have the last concept, which is going back with the wood, with a wood bridge, or the continuing wood bridge. The wood that is being, for the first two concepts is called let me see how everybody called it. How do you pronounce it? Ivy? eBay is an eBay wood, which is a South American hardwood. And we were able to find out, he was able to find out for us that one of the beauties of this wood, that it's going to last 3 to 4 times longer than other wood, than the, it could last up there. Treated wood has a lifespan between 10 to 15 years before you will have to either replace or do something with it. And the eBay wood could last anywhere from 30 to 40. Depending. The maintenance is much less than that you would have to do with it. This is a sample of the eBay wood. Of course, he did mention that if you wanted to take a look at it, it is what on the Borman Lake Trail down at the south end of it. All the bridges that were built as used this wood. Now, it is significantly more costly, than what we have budgeted. We have budgeted approximately, or the county, the Board of Commissioners have put aside $66,600 for the bridge, but we haven't. So the question comes down to is, do we want to request of the Board of Commissioners to give a consideration of going, I know when Miss Steve Valley decided to come back into the office after picking cherries for, a month and a half.
I thought it was 2 months.
Huh?
Wasn't it 2 months?
Well, I don't know, you just weren't around, that's for sure. Telling you. But anyway, we thought, if we're gonna do anything, we want to stick with a more classic design. That's one of the things we thought about, because it's kind of sticking with what we have. And if we're going to do that, then we would want to go with option number 2, if you want to use eBay wood, or to stick with using, we originally went in and said, what are our alternatives other than just using treated wood? And this is the best alternative that we can come up with. Whether the Board of Commissioners and Emmett, you don't need to say yea or nay, that's for the discussion tonight. Do we want to go for a short term or long term, and Artie, Steve, and my thoughts were, if we're going to do this, pay once, do once for the long term, if the County Board of Commissioners is not, if they're willing for it. That way, none of us are going to worry about what's going to look like 30 years from now, I'm pretty sure. If you are, well, if you remember all this, that'd be even better, but, I know I won't. But, so, your input is one, and before, we go tonight. So, Steve, if I've covered it, this is what's in their packet too, except for the explanation, Steve, at the top of it. So your thoughts are welcomed, and what do you think we should be doing? How should we go forward? Either way, the bridge will get repaired, so. So, Steve, did I cover it as well?
Yeah, I think you covered it beautifully. It's an interesting option. We really hadn't considered other than just replacement. Through Jerry's diligent work, we've stretched out 18 years or 19 years on what's there, and that's because his screw gun is handy and it's kept it up to snuff. And so we're not unsafe, but the time is here. And it's been on our agenda and our docket. We've asked for money for a couple of years now to move forward.
I think, but if you've been across the bridge, you can see that the wood is splintered. There's a lot of loose stuff in there. It is time for it to be replaced.
It's time.
And part of the MMRA, when they did a risk assessment, they mentioned that We need to do, we need to be doing something with this because it is rough, it could cause some issues. Also, we have asked that whatever we're doing, we're going to meet code. I know the MRA review talked about doing something very odd. We said, no, we're just going to go meet code. We understand the foothold underneath, please design that so the big thing that covers where you can't crawl underneath it. But we're saying we want to at least meet code, so the height is not going to change from the height that's there right now as it relates to the radar. But anything more than that, we don't need to do. So that's kind of where we are.
Yeah,
And
it's
that's
quite-
what he's done. And he would like to know which option do we want to use, because we're not going to go out for alternative options. Unless that's what you want to do. And then we say, hey, bid out alternative 1, 2, 3, or whatever you want to do. That's another thing, but we want to make sure we're going to be serious about the
E-Pay.
E-Pay would, if we're not serious about it, and the Board of Commissioners isn't going to be wanting to consider that, and I didn't, there's no point. But still, we want to, like, a recommendation from here to move forward with that.
We did, if you remember, we did have Spicer do an evaluation of the structure, the underlying structure that came out fine. It's more than adequate to carry the weight of the walkway and the people. So there's a really strong factor there. I forget exactly, but it's way more stout than we need actually. So we have a good structure, and it's.
Is this wood readily available?
That's a good question that I will have to find out if we want to use it. But even if we can't get it done in the fall, if we have a contract that's signed and we got to do it early spring, that's what we'll do, and I'll have to find out. So I have no idea.
So I'm going to put on my forester hat. And just a couple of things. And unfortunately, I have company, so I didn't delve into this as thoroughly as I would have. But Ipe is a tropical hardwood, not grown in North America. And it's not sustainable. There's no regeneration plan to keep these trees growing. So it's kind of like, for a forest environmentalist as me and people in our community, I would just like, and I'm sure it's very good wood, but again, it's a huge impact globally by supporting using tropical hardwoods in northern Michigan when we do have alternatives. If you don't want to go with pressure treated with the chemicals and that, the Park Service has switched over to black locust, which is a native tree to Michigan and as readily available as Ipe is. I'm not sure about the exact cost benefit to it, but it is durable. I also volunteer for the Park Service in Port Oneida, and there's lots of black locust posts that are over 100 years old in the ground. I mean, I just know black locust really, really well. And it's huge in the green construction business. As an environmentalist, I think that would be a really cool opportunity for us to do something not from a tropical rainforest, but from northern Michigan. So I just wondered if we could ask in the RFP to just price out a few different woods. That's not.
But that would kind of trade wood. I've got it down, a black locust wood. It can't be done.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just feel really, really strongly about that, but probably nobody would know it. They'd look at the wood and they'd be like, oh, I wonder what that is, but yeah. Anyways.
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman? Yeah, I think that's a good suggestion. It kind of came up that we maybe bid black locust as an alternative, but I would not be in favor, well, I would be in favor of using the Ipe as opposed to pressure-treated wood. I mean, there's environmental concerns with both, but when you look at the financial impacts of having a wood that costs less than twice as much lasts 3 to 4 times as long, I think if we look at the best interest of the money that's spent in the county, we'd be better off to go with the wood that lasts longer, but doesn't cost that much incrementally more.
I think that's things that him and I could share tonight too. Or maybe we go, and I'm just thinking out loud, maybe we go say, okay, give us eBay, give us the black locust, give us the tree of lumber, the two alternatives, you know. Which does, let me back up here one more time. Of the three designs, I mean, I would imagine of the three designs of, and I'm gathering that we would probably like to have the classic concept that's there is one thing, and then you have what we have there now, which is almost like the classic concept. Which of these three designs do you like best? Because which wood you use is also okay. You know.
My opinion is I like the classic design. I mean, it's very traditional, fits in with the area.
Classic design?
That'd be my
Classic
preference.
design and or what's there now?
Either one, yeah.
Okay. That's what I'm asking, you know, I'm trying to get down to what it is so we can narrow this down if we ask. And I can make a phone call this afternoon, make sure what we can do. If we want it.
I think if we can sub out black locust for IPE, the classic design, in my mind, makes a lot of sense. We've got a galvanized structure to attach the wood to. And I know that working with treated lumber and making those rails is interesting. And trying to get those vertical rails to hold together is probably the most difficult part of maintaining a treated lumber treatment. That's and if you did the classic design, you would avoid a lot of the mess and trouble of working with a difficult wood, the southern yellow pine. Locust is not an easy, black locust is probably not an easy wood to work with either, per se. And I know that a lot of walkways have gone in from seeds program and at different locations, and they hold up extremely well. Black locust is a pretty cool alternative, and it's kind of an invasive plant to try to harvest and get rid of. So, yeah, I would, if I had a choice, if we could sub that out, I'd rather do that than IPE, being that Cameron brought that up. But the classic design is what I would vouch for.
So in that classic design, the railing is wood, right, though? Even though it doesn't look like it?
It's galvanized. It's the IPE classic,
Okay.
not the treated wood classic.
Okay.
Yeah, the railings in between, not the top and the bottoms, but, you know, or the verticals.
Those are called posts?
Between the open spaces is a galvanized.
It's galvanized, but it would be I'm kind of guessing, but I'm just thinking that probably is a galvanized structure to attach the wood to.
I believe you are correct.
I'm kind of guessing, but it kind of looks like that.
Would all of the hardware be stainless or galvanized?
I'm gonna have to ask the question, but we can, I don't know which is better. I mean, now you're asking a neophyte. Which is better, stainless steel or galvanized? Screws. Galvanized screws are better than stainless steel screws?
Seems to eventually rust.
It's soft too.
Okay, I mean, galvanized is better.
It's stronger, yeah. Stainless is, if you're in a tough situation, you're not going to be able to get the stainless in. It's a soft thing.
I had a choice in that for the ladder that we had built to get over the dam, stainless steel and or galvanized.
Yeah, mixing the two might not be ideal. Keeping it all the same is better.
Okay. Well, what's gonna happen, as we get the final RFP done, we can ask him to give us a quick example of, you know, what he's gonna have in there, what material. And if I don't see galvanized, then I'll ask them for galvanized, or I'll give them a call and ask them for galvanized. That'd be my
Yep, I agree with the classic design and also looking at subbing the black locust in.
Okay. Okay. What I'm gonna do, if this is the consensus, I mean, you don't have to make a vote or anything like that, I'm going for consensus here. But I may ask them this afternoon or give them a call, if we could say, we want to go with the classic design. We want to make sure that the hardware that you're using, such as screws, is going to be galvanized. But we want to leave it open between, we want 3 samples, and we want the actual price for the type of ePay wood. Don't laugh, you're going to have to help me tonight. Kim.
Okay, I'm there.
The eBay wood, we're gonna want a price on that, price on the black locust, and a price on, maybe price on, I'll say the name. A price on treated. And for the black locust, we also like to have a number or a life expectancy of the black locust. So at least it's apples to apples that we're trying to compare to when the final decision comes in. Is that fair enough? You can always ask for options.
Could you add supply chain availability?
Yep,
It'd be nice to be able to move forward.
I agree.
So we should probably run through some scenarios anticipating maybe his responses.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's what happens in the RP. That's what you get. So that's what you'll have from the RP. They'll put it out there, and then the vendors will give us, okay, I can have this wood here within X days, or this one here within, it's gonna take me 6 months to get it. We may not want to wait 6 months, so that's all that would do. Okay. Black screws. Does that sound like a reasonable approach at this point?
What's the deadline for the RFP?
I don't know, he has to write it. So, I mean, I'm sure he's got most of it written, he just needs this. And I will try to find out and let y'all know next week. To be honest with you, after the meeting tonight, you won't be hearing from me until next week. So, I got this camping trip, and we gotta go with a bunch of people.
Sweet.
I may escape and come back,
So we have a consensus. Any questions about where we left it for Richard and the County Board of Commissioners?
And what I'll do is that try to get where the RFP is going to come back at a reasonable time, and you're all going to see the results of the RFP, so you can help make a recommendation to the county board. Okay, is that fair enough?
We might surround that with the next meeting timeframe. We probably have a couple items to touch base on, plus the RFP. Do another
I'll find out
special
when we do
meeting.
that, but I'm thinking it's going to probably, I don't know if we'll have everything back by the time our September meeting comes around. So I'm looking at, it's going to probably be sometime in latter September, so we'll have it in front of the Board of Commissioners. Their October meetings are a week earlier than the normal Monday meeting. So I'm going to try to push to have everything clear so we can get you to have it on that packet of October the 1st. So that's what I'm going to push. So we'll see what happens. Okay, so late September, I'll be calling you back in and saying, here's what we got, what do you recommend? It may be that, well, it can't be that October 1st, we're going to have to do it in September, because that'll be a morning meeting, unless you want to meet at 7 o'clock and right now.
Free breakfast will get me there.
Things like that can happen. So you go.
Would there be a way for you guys at the commissioners meeting to recommend a budget increase based on the information we have so far, and then that way we could make a quicker decision?
Well, that's part of what we're going to have to discuss tonight, because if they're not willing to amend the budget increase to consider the, I could, wood,
Or black look, yeah.
well, we don't know what black locust will cost us, then we will not be moving forward with the higher price. We know that. But at least I have everything in there that I can have have discussions. So,
Yeah, in your RFPs, they go out with choices, all your bids come back in. You make a recommendation to the board of commissioners, they'll look at it and they'll say, well, we know we've committed 66.6, and now we gotta do another 90. I mean, you've gotta get that far. You've gotta get through all of this.
you gotta get all through this, but if they're saying absolutely no tonight, we're not gonna make it. But if they're open to say, we'll consider it once we see all the bids, then fine, that helps us. But that's what we're trying to get to, so.
So the bids will come through with 3 different types of wood.
Yeah,
Okay.
and we know that we want to have the galvanized screws being used, or galvanized, whatever, so. Okay, that's kind of where I wanted your input to move forward with it, and if you're all comfortable with that, Kathy and I'll do that, because I'm not worried about I'm not worried about the funds being in the budget. I mean, fund balance is pretty healthy. This is one of those things that how far out long-term does the county board want to consider. But we'll get the rest of it and get the rest of the information and make an informed decision hopefully around October, and we move forward. So, and if we can get an award done in early October, or at least a feeling for it, who knows, maybe they can, can they get the work done by the end of November or whenever they can get it done? Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. And on the other question, as a reminder, Mr. Thompson here has decided that he wants to take a little trip also, and congratulations, I don't know what you will, but I know he's on a trip. And this will probably help you. Any suggestions that you have on the draft that came out as relates to the lake level procedures and stuff like that, we need to get into your hands. What date did you say you wanted by September 5th?
Well, early September.
Or get into early September to Mr. Thompson so that he can incorporate all those suggestions to bring back for your all's discussion. So that's what he was requesting. I don't know if that helps you in your thoughts, but nothing is finalized, but we want to get everything back into his hands. So all you have is drafts, so just bundle them that way. That helps to your question, bundle. That gets to there. So nothing's finalized until you all do what we do from there. Okay. Yeah, I have any excuse so I can go make a quick phone call. I gotta go. I got a person I need to call you real quick.
I think we're good.
I think we're good.
Thank you.
Thank you, Richard.
Before you stop here,
I will.
I didn't send you a copy of this.
I don't need it. He needs it. So yeah, we're good.
All right.
But you know it.
Okay. All right. That brings us to public comment.
Yeah, Jim Weiser from.
Why don't you come on up where the microphones are, and that'll help us. Well, it'll help Allison a lot.
My name's
Yep, you're welcome.
Jim Weiser from Leland, representing the Lake Association. And as discussed, we discussed and revised and edited the lake level control procedure and have submitted a revised draft that you all have. And I just want to make sure the process moves forward to get this approved and in order. The one question which I mentioned that we had in drafting it is that somehow the number of 3.2 inches of rain has come up as the definition of a major event, and we weren't sure if that was, I don't know where it came from or if that's the right number for a major rain event, because it seems like 3.1 inches is a lot of rain, and that can be considered a minor event. So, this last weekend we had, I think, maybe 2.25 inches of rain, and the levels went haywire for a couple of days. And so it doesn't take that much to require some increased awareness or intervention. So that, I guess that's our one question to you. And,
Jim, your suggestion was to go to a 2-inch defining as,
just, we were kicking around numbers and, Mike Gibson, our hydrologist, and I, that seemed like maybe a more moderate number that would be considered. Up to 2 inches is minor and above 2 inches is major. Historic, seems like last year, I don't know what that was, 7 inches or something like that.
I would suggest we defer to Jerry and maybe Garth as far as,
Yeah,
how did we get to,
the 3.2 inches is a 24-hour rainfall, which normally is considered a major rainfall in excess of 25. A lot of hydraulic structures are, like minor hydraulic structures like storm sewers and small retention ponds, those sorts of things are designed for the 25-year storm. So that's where that number comes from. 2 inches would be about roughly a 10-year storm. So, but the climate's changed, so those numbers really seem to be skewing. But the state hasn't, that I'm aware of, officially announced a revised formula for calculating the 10-year and the 25-year storm.
But then there's also even correlating how much the lake levels change with the amount of rain. It might be that even a 1 or a 1.5 inch rainfall would be enough to warrant more urgent action at the dam to prevent the lake levels from increasing the way they did. I think this probably happened on a weekend this last time, and so it's understandable that there wasn't an extremely brisk response.
there really isn't a reason that we have to stick with the government's definition. We can put whatever we want in there. And I guess the difficulty to understand what should be major and go to a manual operation, the rainfall over the whole watershed becomes the issue. What if there's a storm on South Lake and North Lake gets a 1/4 of an inch? That's one situation. I guess we have to think about setting up a threshold for definition. Does it require Jerry or the new dam operator someday to do something more often if we define it to a lower level?
I'd hate it to be only every 10 years that we get to the threshold of going to manual operation. It seems like it should be more often than that. It seems like it's probably a couple times a year that the lake levels are rising abruptly and need to be dealt with. Maybe this attachment 1 where we have the events and the response should be manual operation even for a minor event, over an inch. We'll just say increased monitoring at this point, which I guess if you're monitoring it and you notice that the lake levels have gone up by 3 inches, it would trigger you to intervene with the manual operation already.
Yeah, if the difficulty is the watershed behaves differently if you get the 2 inches over 24 hours or if you get them over 6 hours. I mean, you see if you have a shorter time period, you get a more immediate response. So that's why, no matter, I mean, how, and this maybe using AI or something, and this, I think you have to have the operator use some judgment in there because rainfall distributions and patterns are not uniform. I mean, everyone is unique. So This sets up sort of some broad guidelines, but you're never going to get away from the operator having to get his eyes on it and watch and take appropriate actions.
Jerry, a question for you. Would it bother you if we made the threshold 2 inches instead of 3.2?
No, there's
Does it cause you more work?
not the work, it's, this weekend, it's been dry and I've kept it, the level as, let me just try to keep it down here. The request was to read the lake level at the dam. The request to maintain it is at the dam. Okay, that was that changed my whole game plan over the years. So everything, any comments about 6 inches low, 5 inches high, and 4 inches low, and is all BS. Because I've had that manual down there, it's been 9 feet across the board. Dwayne had to lower it when I was gone. I think he had a rain event months ago. Okay, other than that, that sucker's been, then I moved it to 9.040. Okay, just under 1 inch. A few weeks ago, we set it. And it's holding at that, back to 9.060. But 9.040 is where we hit. And this weekend, because of, I was trying to, we're at 9 feet. Of course, the gauge above the dam has never been moved, so that's the foundation of this whole thing. That thing is not moved. So if we go off of that gauge, it's just above the dam and the gauge dam underneath the top. Fine tuning as much as possible. Okay, can't do that. I was down, so I left when it rained this weekend, okay, laying in bed going, okay, it's raining, it's great. I'm down 9 feet. I wasn't worried about going beyond, I figured I'd be at 9.2, maybe a little bit over when I went down Monday morning, because I wasn't really concerned, because we had a lot of lake to fill. And with the temperature, the way the winds were blowing, west-northwest, you've got runoff, lack of runoff, you've got all kinds of variables. So you're getting that rain, so I went down, there's 9 feet, 2 inches. Okay, Monday morning, 9 feet, 2 inches. So I proceeded to lower it down to, because we had it almost shut off. Okay, it's the gate, and also that overflow in South Bay, that ivy, we just raised that this summer to flush out all the goodies that were there and the fish. So that's been working, but everything was almost shut down. So we got the rain, I wasn't really worried because we needed that. So 9.2 went down, reset it, opened the gate, we've got a great flow both South Bay, which is the overflow bay, and the gate. A lot of water going over right now, but we're at 9.040. Okay. I know a gentleman came out to me and mentioned, they had trouble with their boats getting out under the bridge this weekend. We went up to 92, which we know has been causing issues about, the reversal.
Yeah, that's on the river.
Yeah.
That's on the river. Well, I'm talking on the river, so everything's on the river. This morning, under the bridge went off, at 10 o'clock, it was 9 feet, almost just 080 under 9 feet 1 inch. Down at the dam, it was 9 point, it was wind blowing, fluctuation, it was 040 or 060. Okay? I'm saying we're talking this, okay? And at no time was that gate ever, or was the Leland River at the dam lower than 9 feet since I've been on this thing, since I came back. So if there is no, whatever, in South End, last week, it was 1 inch lower than the dam. went down and checked this morning, and, you know, say, 8.9, all of the damage was 9 feet. So the pressures and barometric pressures and all that come into play. I mean, there's no set point you try to, when you get back to the point of how much rain you're getting, variation, variable is how much water's going over, you know, how much can we absorb before we have to open the gate, et cetera, et cetera. So 2.5, 2 inches, get concerned, 3 inches, get more concerned, definitely. And it's one of those things that's anticipation, even with the gate compared to the boards, when I told them, anticipation, whatever, but you were saying, something gets water, the north end doesn't, vice versa, and, so, to answer your question, I don't know, for sure.
Well, let me ask you a simple question.
I'm gonna make a comment real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
This is kind of we're playing a little bit loose.
Yeah.
Public comment is public comment, and typically it's not a discussion point time frame. I appreciate the words that have been said. I'm gonna have to be somewhere at 1. Garth, you can take over adjournment.
I'll give it back to Richard.
But,
Yeah,
I think, you know, we've been really, really close with what we're doing, and I think, overall, this is a real good conversation and a good way to go. And, yeah, we've been trying our best, and, just as a comment, Jerry has gone manual over the years, I'm gonna say 6 times a year. So it's not a rare occurrence. And sometimes he goes manual to bring water up, but mostly he goes manual to let water go. So it's more common than you would think for Jerry to be dumping water. He's watching what's happening at the Narrows. He wants that to be down. But he also is cognizant of the south end, which is where 3/4 of our watershed is, and where we have the hardest time getting the water down. So he's very cognizant of that and has gone the manual, I'd say 6 times a year. So it's something that we can, and I think your comments, Rick, you know, the operator really needs to be looking at the south end, the Narrows, the river, I mean, and then dropping that. At one point, Jerry would go down at midnight and open it, and he'd go down at 5:30 and bring it back because of what the boats needed to do. So, I mean, there are some variables that the operator needs to have the ability to do, and the guidelines gets him to the point where he can do that. So.
You've answered my question.
well, I'm sorry, 2 inches is important, because that starts to draw
Yeah, so,
focus, definitely.
Yeah.
that's a really,
Yeah.
Definitely.
thank you for that input.
And it becomes more of a problem if you've got a lot of water, you're letting a lot of water anyway, because you have wet. That 2 inches is, gets real anxious real fast. That's
Yeah.
good enough.
Yeah, 2-inch rain pretty much means the south end goes up 2 inches, just like that. Then the watershed dumps another 2 inches in, so that's how come it takes so long to get it. But anyway, I got scoop. Garth, it's all yours.
Well, should we, Garth, should we wrap it up?
Yeah,
Do a lot to monitor, trying to put our vapor, but it comes out the window.
yeah.
Take care.
Any additional public comments?
Thanks, Steve.
Okay, we're to commissioner comments. We'll start with Colin.
I'll do my best tonight, guys, to represent our discussion well and let you know what happens.
One item that's not on our agenda, and I apologize for not adding it in at the beginning. The new sensor at the dam has shut off twice in the last 2.5, 3 weeks. And we unplug the battery, give it a few seconds to let all the transients go, plug it back in, and it works. However, it cut out again and again. So Cal Killen came on the 16th and put a new computer, new modem, new antenna, and we believe that will fix it. You'll see some gaps in the chart if you look at the history.
Yeah.
This should fix it. If not, he'll work with us and see what else has to happen. That's all.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Drew, any comments?
No.
Only comment I've got is, we want to wish John Pope the best. He was, in a crash and we're all thinking of him, so. With that, got a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
We're adjourned.
All right.